Hi everyone, Macsen here. Welcome to my latest Stellaris Let's Play on the channel. This time around using the Heinlein patch. Current version is 1.31. I'll also be updating when any hotfixes come out during the course of the Let's Play. Right, so before you can see the race that I'm actually going to be using during the course of this Let's Play. Now sadly within Stellaris at the moment there are some issues with sectors still. This has been the case since Stellaris came out. Currently, all of the aliens that you acquire on planets, once you turn them over to a sector, if you have slavery on, then they are basically becoming enslaved no matter what the circumstance, regardless of what tile they're on, or if their happiness is really high. So that causes quite a few issues when it comes to creating races, so you don't want that happening in certain circumstances. I do want to play a race that uses slavery though. Because if you don't have a xenophobic race or a collectivist race, you basically can't use things like purge or resettlement, which are really good, amazing features that I really enjoy using. So I've come up with a race that basically will mitigate the circumstances that currently exist when you turn over planets to sectors. This race is basically going to be focused on using energy tiles and science tiles, and all of the slaves I'll have throughout the course of the game, I'll be using them for food and production. We're also going to be able to use robots as well, which can use pretty much all of the tiles. Long term definitely, because they become synths eventually, which are great on all different tile types. So yeah, I've basically come up with a race that mitigates all those circumstances and should be pretty enjoyable to use as well. You can see the traits I've selected. They're nomadic as well. That's going to be good for resettlement purposes. Non-adaptive, it does have some issues taking that, but it gives you an extra couple of trait points, so it's huge, and it's not too big of an issue. Weak, going to mean I'm going to have a bit weaker on minerals. We're going to use slaves and robots eventually, so that won't really matter. Army damage, I can get a race later on that's really good when it comes to invading people, so that won't be much of an issue. For the first time in a Let's Play, I'm actually using warp travel. Warp travel has had quite a few boosts recently in the hotfix as well, so it's not the crappy warp decision that it used to be, and in fact it may even be the best type of travel, but I can show that off during the course of the Let's Play. Nuclear missiles, I wanted to try something different to what I'd normally pick, which is the energy beam weapons. Mass drivers are actually pretty decent now as well, but yeah, I thought I'd try out the nuclear missiles. Apart from that, I've gone for pretty standard stuff in terms of the graphics, all Avian logo. Plutocratic oligarchy is the choice I'm going to be using here. There are a number of government choices though that I could switch to later on, and there's a bit of a backstory as well to this race if you want to read that. Right, that covers the intro though. Let's get to the actual game settings. Okay, so these are the default game details, but I'll definitely be wanting to make some changes here. So I'm going to stick with the medium 600 stars map. But for the galaxy shape, I'm going to switch that to a spiral 2 arms galaxy. I'm going to be playing on hard difficulty. I haven't really tried out insane much at all, but I'm sure I will do that for a Let's Play at some point. The AI empires, I'm going to actually lower this by 1 because I want to have one more fallen empire. Within the Leviathans DLC, which I'm using of course, there's a chance for a war of heaven between the fallen empires, so perhaps by increasing their number there'll be more chance of that happening. With the advanced AI start, I'm actually going to have just 1 because I'm on hard difficulty. Habitable world setting, I'm going to increase this to 150%. The colonizable worlds was reduced a lot within the 1.3 patch from previously, so I'll bump it up a tiny bit, but not as much as it would have been before. AI aggressiveness, I keep that normal. In fact, I'm going to keep all the rest of these to standard default settings. Apart from clustered starts, I'm going to turn that off, so hopefully the races will have a bit of room between them. And advanced neighbors, I don't really want the advanced neighbors starting right next to me, especially when it's on hard difficulty, so I'll turn that off as well. Right, that's it though for the settings. Everything else is default. Let's start a game. Okay, so we got the generic welcome screen here, and that is our starting solar system. Let's zoom out and check out the map. So, in the northeastern part of the galaxy, not too bad. I would probably prefer to be near towards the center because of ethics divergence, which can, of course, change your ethics and cause you rebellion issues. Right, so that's a good start. What I'm going to do before I have a look at other things, though, is actually save the game. Okay, right, so let's take a look at our starting leader then. So what do they have? Space Miner. Oh wow, actually that's an amazing one to start off with. So mining station build cost. So that's gonna be great in combination with the plutocratic oligarchy. That's actually why I pick that government more often than not for my starting government, because of the mining station build cost. It's very important at the beginning of the game. And we've also got Home in the Sky, which is spaceport build cost and spaceport module cost. Something like extra influence or happiness or any production boosts are generally what I favour. There's a warlike trait, I think, which may be the best trait, which is actually better than it suggests because it gives a huge amount of bonuses off a ton of things. But yeah, they're not too bad starting traits there. So let's take a look at our homeworld, shall we? Which is Eerie, in the Nidum system I've called it. So what governor do we start with? This guy has an agrarian upbringing. So extra food, not the best of governors. This race which I'm actually playing here is very similar to the one I did in the guide video for the early game when it was back in 1.2. That guide video is still very relevant though, and I recommend you check it out at some point. So starting home world is 18 tiles. This is a change within 1.3 as well. It used to always be 16. So this cross here is always the same, pretty much. Or that cross. Yeah, there's a capital tile. So what else have we got? We've got some food up here. What I'm looking for though is minerals. That's what I really want, because we need to focus on minerals like crazy early game. So there's a mineral tile here. I actually got energy as well, but if I stick that on it, I'm going to lose the energy. I will definitely do that though. Oh, there's actually one there as well. You know what? Let's do that one first. But I lose the food. Is it worthwhile? Yes, it probably is, just about. I'll put that there as well. Okay, with the science ship, I'm gonna get that survey in the home system. Wow, there is nothing within my starting territory. Well, there's one more star system here. That's really bad. It means I'm gonna have probably not an awful lot of yields to pick up with constructors early game. So all of those bonuses, the mining stations, aren't gonna be all that useful if I don't have any systems. For the tech, I'm definitely going to pick up the colony ship. There's a no-brainer. Every game you want to do that, pretty much no matter the circumstances. Engineering. Right, we started off with missiles, don't we? So that's probably why torpedoes may have turned up here. Should I go for that though? To be honest, torpedoes only works well against really big ships, so I don't need it yet. I'm going to go for the Corvette assembly yard. This is incredibly important path in the engineering tech line or tree, because it allows you to pick up battleships and destroyers and all the combat ships basically. Winds of Magenta in the physics department. What options do I have? I think out of those I'm going to pick up the solar panel network. I will actually need the physics lab actually in this game, because it unlocks the special building for Materialists. Because of that reason, I was very tempted to go beam weapons, but I wanted to do something different and try out the missile weapons, which I don't normally use. But yeah, we'll have to pick that up eventually. It's not important early game, no, really. The techs are split up into tiers, and I think the Materialist building is a quite late tier anyway. Right, so that's my tech. Currently, the constructor ship is waiting for some resources to be found. I definitely need some names for fleets, so if you've got any ideas, keeping on a theme with the stuff I picked, that would be great. And also, likewise, for the 4 combat ships, the 3 different stations you can get, and the 4 different civilian ships. Gonna need names for all of those. Might come up with some myself as well. Rally points were added within this recent update, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be using those, but for now I'll just have it on Eerie. Let's split up these ships then. So what I want to do with these ships is actually explore a decent amount, but with xenophobic or collectivist races especially, what I find is you want to be conquering primitives early on, and I want to be doing that here especially as well. I want to get some slaves on the go. So I don't want to explore too much, because when you conquer primitives it lowers relations with other empires. I also might want to purge as well, which definitely lowers relations with other empires. So I'm going to be quite careful when it comes to exploring. I'm not going to be doing too much. So yeah, let's get that one out there then, and yeah, let's bring that over to there, is it? And I have one more come up in this direction. Okay, I'll let them find all of those, and then I'll stop for a bit and see if I found any primitives. Okay, let's get started then. Now I'm actually going to be playing on the fastest speed as well, at least trying to. Hopefully my frame rate will be okay with it. It looks like it is so far. It's at 60. Right, so he's found some worlds. Great. That's even within my starting territory, so who knows, that could be a place I colonize first. Not necessarily though. Okay, now what I should be doing here is paying attention and looking to see if I found any minerals, and I have. So let's get that to there. That only costs 45 then. Normally it would be 90, but I had 2 bonuses from oligarchy and from the trait from my leader. Okay. Right, one of them is finished already, but I won't just wait on that one.
Situation log updated.
Okay. Encountering Xeris systems, so where is that to? It looks like creatures by the looks of it. Enigmatic spacefarers, Eerie is in an uproar following the news of unidentified ships sighted in the void. Their intentions unknown. It would be prudent to assume the worst. Okay, so these are creatures. Now I'm not going to research this yet because it would delay when I can get my first colony ship out, and I need to be focusing on that. In fact, I wouldn't mind some extra society at some point. Right, is that moving on? Yes, it is. Okay.
Anomaly found.
There's an anomaly found, but I tend to only research anomalies when I can get the failure risk to 0%, because otherwise you can lose them. There are some cases where I wouldn't do that, though. Okay, so that's done with the early exploration. I'm definitely going to be wanting to do some more very shortly, but for the time being what I actually want to do is look for primitives. Now primitives can show up in systems that doesn't suggest that there's actually a colonizable world there. Systems that don't have this icon or the red or yellow icon. So I'm going to have to take a minute out and look around these, and I'm also going to want to survey all of the planets at some point that I've discovered, because primitives can turn up on there as well. Okay, couldn't find any primitives yet. I'd be surprised if I find them in the first video, but I've given my ships some new directions in hope of finding some, and I can basically conquer them as soon as I can find them. That's what the plan is. On here as well, I think I'm going to switch over to that mineral tile. It's more important at this stage. In terms of food, as long as you've got a bit of food, you'll always be growing. And yeah, food is kind of important, but yeah, as long as you are growing, you're going to get new population. I tend to focus much more on food on planets. I'm wanting to turn over to sectors. Early game on a homeworld is arguably more important to get resources up and going, so you can get a good start. Right, so this guy is growing there as well, you can see. So yeah, yeah, it's going to be a while before I get him. But you get a base of 1 to start out. Every food point only increases it by 0.1, so sticking him on, well, sticking that there, yeah, you can see I don't really get much out of it. So that's why I'm focusing on resources in this circumstance. Right, let's get going again then. Hope to find something. There's a chance that I'm going to run into creatures with these ships and I'll lose them. But if I'd have grouped them up, I would have lost all of my ships at this point. The creatures in the Heinlein patch are a lot stronger.
Complete.
You can see that there's 516 that. And that's about the lowest you find. Right, so a mining station was completed. Sadly, I haven't found anything more here though. Oh shit, I've put a science ship on survey in there, have I? Well, I didn't mean to do that. Let's get that science ship back to here. I've done. Right, that can stay there as well. Okay. Right, it's gonna slow things down a bit until it gets back over there and finishes the survey. Must have selected them when I was doing the routes for all of these ships. Okay, so that one's finished. Where is that? That one's over there. I could be looking through all of these to see if I can find any primitives, but I think I'll just wait until they're finished. Ah, we have found something now. That's, yeah, unidentified empire. Okay. That's doesn't look like a normal empire to me, so I'm gonna have to perhaps survey that later on and figure out what it is. Okay. That's almost done.
Construction complete.
Brilliant. So production is going up. But I could definitely do with finding some more mines. Got a bit to go on this, and got one more of those traveling over there. Okay, they're done. I need to give them some more orders. I'm going to have a look around these systems as well, see if I can see any primitives. I couldn't actually find any primitives yet, but what I think I'm going to do at this point is make a science ship and start to survey some of the habitable worlds, see if any primitives are located on those. You can't find out at this stage because if you click on them you can't check out the surface, but there could be primitives on those worlds potentially. So I'm going to hire, well, create a science ship there. I'm going to have to hire a scientist to stick on it shortly. So I won't be doing any more traveling. I don't want to meet any enemy empires that could cause me all sorts of issues after conquering primitives. And yeah, let's continue on with the clock though. So I think I'll leave these where they are for the time being. Although I could bring them back and save on maintenance, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll do that then. Right.
Construction complete.
Okay, we've got Habitable World Survey. So by doing this you get a ton of extra society and also money. That's also another reason to survey a ton of worlds. That will also help
Situation log updated.
getting out to colony ships soon. So that was done. Let's recruit a scientist then. Let's take a look in here. And what I should have done as well is move that guy onto there. That would have sped up my research. So that was a minor mistake. Let's switch that one over to there and recruit someone. That's actually what I was hoping to find. One of the scientists I was hoping to find. So we can get this guy. If we get a ton of experience for him, eventually it will mean that I can get much more anomalies because he has less fatal risk. So let's recruit him. 50 influence. Now, in terms of influence, I really don't like to spend a lot early on. It's very expensive to colonize, and you shouldn't be wasting it, in my opinion, on things like planetary edicts or even that many leaders. I just need it for colonizing at this stage and building outposts if you need to. Also, the edicts in here, don't waste them early on. There is some argument for perhaps picking selecting the society research so you could get the colony ship out a bit sooner, but it's very expensive, and I think there are better ways of doing it. But I will be using some of these later in the game, no doubt. Right, so let's stick a scientist here then. I've got scientists still searching there. Let's get him to survey that system. Okay. What does he have? Survey speed runs. Nothing special really. I guess it's okay at this stage. Right, so let's keep on going then. I need to... A useful tip is if you have a clear tile, just to stick your growing population on it, because it gives you a pop-up when growth is completed, but I don't have one here, sadly. So I could make a building and stick him on it and disable the building. That's also a way of getting a pop-up when they're ready, but can't really afford to make a build in the moment. Need the minerals for a colony ship coming up. What I really need to do as well is get some society. Now I haven't found any, sadly, so I think I'm going to have to clear that rather expensive tile and maybe move someone across to it in a bit. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm basically trying to get up to 5 planets as quickly as possible. The quicker you can do it, the better start you'll have. Okay. Right, so they're all grouping up.
System survey complete.
Need them. Let's put them in a group. Right, that science ship finished there. No new minerals, sadly though. I'll get him over to survey that system as well. It's the only other one within my territory. So I really need to colonize quickly here just to get some territory so I can get some more resources. This is pretty awful so far. When you can have like 6 systems within your starting territory pretty easily. I think because we're xenophobic as well, we actually have a bigger territory than normal. So it's just, yeah, even worse. We get an extra 10% border with xenophobes. Right, okay. What we got here? Good to go on that. Found some engineering, but society or minerals I want. Mainly minerals at this stage. Right, that science ship is finished. Let's bring him down to here. Survey that. So I'm going to be surveying all of the habitable worlds coming up. Just to find primitives basically at this stage, or to colonize as well to a certain extent later on. We are Savannah race. Savannah is a new planet type added within the 1.3 patch. But also we can colonize dry climate planets as well, pretty easily. Although I haven't said that we are.
System survey complete.
We do have a negative trait in non-adaptive, which will make him a bit worse than they otherwise would be. Right, that is done. Let's get that up to here. Okay. Add some more on the list as well. Haven't found too many creatures so far here yet, surprisingly. Right, that science ship is finished. Right, found some minerals there. Let's get that over to that system.
Anomaly found.
Okay, it's too much currently, so I can wait. Let's get that over there as well. Okay. We've pretty much got enough minerals now to get colony ship, but I'm nowhere near getting that, and I should have moved the population over to there really a bit sooner. Playing at faster speed though, so I'm already making mistakes because of it. Let's get that there then, and let's build science ship there. That can be deactivated, and I'll put that population there. Okay. And let's get going again. Right, definitely want to survey that system as well. I think there could be a primitive there, actually. Alien space station. That looks like a primitive to me. I'm thinking. It did say Empire on here though, which... yeah, that confuses me. Brilliant. Okay, so we found a primitive. And it looks like, yeah, it was that one. So it's the Hydrobia system on, are they called the Bulb? Or is that the world they're on? We have detected the presence of an alien civilization on Bulb, right, in the Hydrobia system. They appear to be in the early space age, as evidenced by many primitive satellites orbiting their home worlds. Their nation states are on the path towards joining together in a global government. And it's likely only a matter of time before they venture beyond their worlds and join the galactic community. We should consider building an observation post above their world to study them more closely. I could do that, but because we're xenophobic and we start with the native interference unrestricted, allows us to invade. I'm probably going to invade them before they become a fully fledged empire, which can happen if I gave them a bit more time. Let's check these guys out then. They have 5 armies, which isn't a good sign, especially since I'm going to want to conquer them and my guys are weak, but they probably won't be as good as ours yet. Yeah, they're definitely not. So, how good are they? They're resilient, natural sociologists, they are fanatic materialists like us, and they are militarists rather than xenophobic. That's a pretty nice combination. The traits are pretty crap though in my opinion, but yeah. Taking a planet at this stage is going to be well worthwhile anyway. So if I want to conquer these guys, I'm going to have to get out an army. So let's start on making one. Stick one in the list so far. I've got a feeling though I may want to actually colonize a planet before conquering them, and there's a reason for that. Basically, in this patch they changed things a bit when it comes to primitives. It now costs influence to conquer them, and it didn't used to before. It's still really well worthwhile conquering them though. You get a free planet with tons of yields, your space increases, so you get yields from stations. Also, when you want to colonize other areas, you can use it as a jumping off point, and it's cheaper to then colonize near to that world that you've colonized or conquered. So the upsides are huge, really. You can get issues where they can rebel in certain circumstances if their ethics aren't great, but yeah, you can usually take care of that. Right, let's activate that. Let's check out our food here. So we're still growing, excellent. And our scientists are still on go. That one. Let's get you over to these couple of planets. Still hoping to find some more primitives. Okay, once I've conquered the primitives I've found and surveyed all of these systems, just the planets, the habitable planets, and I'm probably going to start exploring again. Okay, when does this come in? 26 months. Is it building up yet?
Construction complete.
Now it's up. Right, that will lower it a bit. So it's 21 months. I can get the colony ship out. Not the fastest of starts here, to be honest, but yeah, it wasn't a very good start. It turns out. Okay, army recruitment happens. Let's take a look to see how much influence this will cost. So if I right click there, 215, you can see how expensive that is. Very expensive. That's why you just can't waste influence. But if I colonize there, which is what I'm almost definitely going to do, or there, the cost will be reduced for that. But I'm going to do that in the next video. That's it for this video, so thank you for watching.